Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and today we're going to be going over the all-new 2019 Lincoln Nautilus. Lincoln has actually introduced a bunch of new vehicles in their lineup, and most of it is actually just changing the names on vehicles because a lot of the current naming on their vehicles is a little bit confusing, and so it's nice that they're just giving them set names instead of a bunch of letters and all that, so that it makes a little bit more sense when you are going through the lineup. As always, we will do a quick walk around on the Nautilus, then we'll take it out to see how it drives. And then if you are on the market for a new Ford or Lincoln, definitely check out Larry H. Miller, Ford Lincoln here in Draper. They will hook you up. And then if you are stopping in for the first time, I'd really appreciate it if you subscribed. This is the part where I usually go into the hood, but there is something that I want to mention because there is a Ford Edge right next to me. So just kind of like look at the Nautilus here, just kind of looking at the shape, proportions, and all that. And then look at this. This is an Edge ST, but look at the Edge over here. So you can see they look super similar. The Edge looks like it's a little bit shorter, but other than that, they look super similar. And when I noticed that the engine options were the same, I was kind of like, probably the same vehicle. So popping into the hood here of the Nautilus, there's actually two different engine options that you can get. You can get a 2-liter 4-cylinder turbocharged motor, or you can get a turbocharged 2.7 liter V6. In terms of power outputs, the 2 liter is going to have 245 horsepower and 275 pound-feet of torque. That V6 is going to have 335 horsepower and 380 pound-feet of torque. This particular one has the 2 liter, and then they both go through an 8-speed automatic transmission. This 2 liter is going to get 21 around town and 26 on the highway. Things up on the front, I love the new styling that Lincoln's been going for. So you have these reflector LED lights. These are just the LED daytime running lights right there. The turn signal is actually integrated just down below, so it's got a really cool design. But I just kind of love what Lincoln's been doing with their design. The new grills that they do and how they integrate the front logo into that just looks absolutely fantastic. Even though this is like the smaller sized Lincoln, it still has a really nice imposing kind of like look on it. It definitely has a lot of road presence. Whenever I see these driving around, I always notice them. And then if you are wondering, this color is called Magnetic Gray Metallic. It's super similar to the color on my trucks. If you guys are familiar with that, I have Granite Crystal from Ram, but very similar color. I definitely like the color, especially in the sunlight. It has a really nice sparkle to it. If we look over here to the side, we've got these 20-inch rims in the front and in the rear, 245 millimeter with the tire size, and there's nothing too crazy or fancy about the rims. They definitely have a pretty nice design to them, but I think they should have gone for something a little bit more bold, maybe add some like black accents onto them or something like that. Now coming around to the side here, we do get Nautilus badging on the side, and I'm going to step back so you guys can get a side profile of the SUV so you can kind of see the proportions of it from the side, and we will walk around to the rear as well so that you can get kind of like the rear quarter angle on the Nautilus. Now we are out back here in the Nautilus, and this is the key fob for the Nautilus. It's super similar to Ford's key fob. Obviously they're going to borrow that since Ford Lincoln are the same company, but you've got your lock and unlock function, remote start. So if you lock the Nautilus and then press the remote start function twice, you hear that 2-liter 4-cylinder start right up, and then if you press that button again, it'll shut the SUV right off. The other function on the key fob is a tailgate release, so you press that button twice and that will open up the tailgate for the Nautilus. It is a power lift tailgate, so there's a button on the key fob. There is also a button here that's been marked on the back of the car so you know where it is. But that will pop right open, and then you're gonna see the storage space in the back here. You've got all the mats back here, but there is a little spare tire underneath. You can see that there is a 12-volt power outlet down here, and then there is a seat folding button, so you press that and that'll fold down the seats. You do have to pick them up yourself though after you have folded them down. There is no like backup function that's electronically, it just kind of throws them down. And then there is a button to lower the tailgate, so press that and then that'll lower down the tailgate. And now that that's come down, we can kind of finish up with the rear. So they've got these new redesigned kind of like LED tail lamps that wrap around super similar to the Edge. Like I said, super similar to that. And it has like a little light strip. Got the 2T badge all-wheel drive since this is the 2-liter turbocharged motor. Backup camera's gonna be integrated back here, and then at the very bottom of the bumper you can see there's little parking sensors. And then just like most modern SUVs, it does have a little spoiler in the back. Coming around to the side here, we actually have keyless entry in the rear, so one touch to lock it, and then put your hand on the back of the door handle to unlock it. I wish a lot more manufacturers would do that, but we can see the rear here. So you've got leather on the door here with contrasted stitching. You've got your window control, wood trim up top with the door handle. The door handle actually feels pretty nice and premium. And then you can see the little speaker down below for the sound system. If we flip over here, we can see the seats. So full leather, they've got nice perforations in them, so they're going to breathe a little bit better, but the outside of them actually feels really nice. The leather feels really soft. And we do get these little cup holders in the back, so you press that and then you can pop these out for the cup holders. And then there is heated seats in the rear, and there's little vents back here, and you can see there's kind of like a little charging station with USBs and a 12 volt. Coming up front, we get that same keyless entry, so one touch to lock it, and then to unlock it, you just have to put your hand on the back of the door handle, and the car will unlock. You can see that up front here we get more of that leather padding with the contrasted stitching. Window controls are all going to be in the regular place. We've got our mirror adjustment controls right here, and then it does have power folding mirrors that you can use as well. There's a button for that, and then there are memory seats, lock and unlock, same wood trim there. And then we pop down here, we got the seat. So you have all your power controls for the seat. You're going to have power adjustable seats, lumbar on top of that, and then you can see the pedal layout just over there with the light controls right here. And then you see there's a little control for the tailgate and then the traction control. Thing before we pop inside, we've got the front seats. They've got these nice bolsters on them. Again, they have that nice leather with the perforations in it, and they've got more of that contrasted stitching. These seats, again, they feel really nice, and they're kind of like more like luxury based seats, so they don't look sporty or anything like that, but it's gonna benefit you because they're gonna be a lot more comfortable to sit in. Now let's step in. Step in height is really, really easy to get into this. This is an SUV and it's at a very nice ride height. But now that we popped in, you can see the mirrors folded out. But to start the Nautilus, you have to put your foot on the brake, and it took me a second to find this, but engine stop start button's right there, and it's a little bit different shape than normal. Gauges will do a little sweep. It is all digital there. Now on the steering wheel here, we have all of our controls for the radio and for your phone controls here. There's this little thing for the menu in the center. We'll go over that momentarily, but your voice command controls, back button for that menu, and then you have all your controls for the cruise control system, and then your volume controls for the radio. And speaking on this cruise control system, this car does come with quite a bit of safety tech. So you get like the adaptive cruise control. You also do get the blind spot monitoring as an option that you can get on these cars as well. Now wrapping things up on the steering wheel, we've got the Lincoln logo front and center, really nice leather on the steering wheel. We've got some paddle shifters to shift the gears yourself with that 8-speed automatic transmission. And then you can see here, there's actually a little logo here for the lane departure assistance on the column there, but these actually feel pretty nice. They are still plastic, but they kind of just have like a little bit of a nice feel to them. Now we've got our center screen right here. On the left side, we've got our RPMs. On our right side, we've got the speedo, and you can see that the RPMs, like the gauges, have a little bit of a cool like thing that it does. I love that digital readout, how that looks, but you can see there's a bunch of different menus that we can scroll through here on the Nautilus. So you can see a bunch of different bits of information on the vehicle, and you can scroll back as well. So there's a bunch of little different menus that you can go through, and then you will get the gear selection right down there at the bottom to show you what gear you're in. Now here is the center screen, and normally I go over the gear shifter after I go over the touchscreen, but the gear selector is over here. So you can see you've got your park, reverse, neutral, drive, and then kind of like your shift mode or your sport mode that you can go into if you want to shift the gears yourself. Now coming here into the touchscreen, this is Ford's actually Sync 3 system, but they kind of just make it have a little bit different appearance for the Lincoln product. But it's a really good system. It's actually pretty responsive touchscreen time. And this is going to have all your functions. So this is going to have all of your apps in here, your satellite radio, your Bluetooth, Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, navigation, all of that you're going to do via this touchscreen. And then if we do pop the Nautilus into reverse, the camera system will pop up. There's a little zoom function, so you can zoom right down if you need to hook up to a trailer. But just a regular camera system with the trajectory lines. There's no 360 camera system, this particular one, but you can get it as an option. Just below the touchscreen, you get a little CD player here. Radio controls, those are like your analog controls. Your analog controls for the climate here, you got your auto hold. You actually have a button for the glove box, so you press that, and that opens up the glove box. That's pretty cool, but sadly it doesn't close it back up, just opens it. And then you have all your other controls for the climate, and then you have your controls for your heated seats in the front, and it is a dual zone climate. Now Lincoln does a pretty good job with having a bunch of little like compartments here in the Nautilus, but you've got like a little charging station back there. It's kind of hard to see because of the lighting. Cup holders over here, and then with the center console you get more of that contrasted stitching, leather padding. It looks really nice, feels really nice. and you push the button actually in to open this up. You'll get like a little storage tray on the top, and then USB, and it is all lined with felt in here, so it feels really nice. Now I know I already did the glove box button, but you press that, open it, like I said before, but then it is lined with felt in the glove box. And while we're in this area, I'd like to go over the dash. So they've got some stitching on the dash and then soft touch on the top of the dash, so it definitely feels a lot nicer. And finishing things up on the dash, you see there's like a little Lincoln logo up there with one of the speakers. Now looking up here, we have a full panoramic sunroof you can get as an option on the Nautilus. The controls for the sunroof are all going to be up here with your little sunglass holder, and then your light controls for the top. But it's nice that they give you that panoramic unit, so it lets a ton of light into the cabin, even for the rear passengers. Wrapping things up on the Nautilus is definitely a really nice interior, and like I said, my favorite part about this vehicle is actually the exterior look, but the interior on this is actually really premium feeling, especially compared to the parent brand Ford that it comes from. But that all being said, let's take the 2019 Nautilus out to see how it drives. We are setting off here in the 2019 Nautilus, and so far I'm actually really liking the feel of this SUV. Even though I said I compared it a lot to the Edge, it definitely does feel like its own unique vehicle. Well, we're stopped here for a moment because the traffic just decided to be atrocious at 12 o'clock in the afternoon, which is kind of weird. I'm noticing that there's not a whole lot of cabin noise. They've done really solid with the noise insulation. We're right next to the interstate, and there's a lot of construction going on in this area, and I'm not hearing any of it. Suspension so far is really smooth. This just suspension, from a suspension standpoint, feels like a really solid platform. I'm not really noticing the bumps all that much, and in terms of like SUVs, it's definitely on the top tier on ride quality with smoothness. We're gonna get on the interstate right here to get a little acceleration. This little 2-liter 4-cylinder is more than adequate for this SUV. That being said, if you are power hungry, definitely go for the 2.7-liter V6. It's going to have quite a bit more power and torque, and so it's just going to have a lot more oomph to it, but this 2-liter is actually more than adequate, is what I would say. Ride quality and road noise on the interstate, super smooth, super quiet. This is a very luxurious feeling vehicle. I'm not hearing a whole lot, and it's just so comfortable. Like, I feel like this is the vehicle that I could drive every single day, and I could drive for like hundreds of miles in these plush seats and the suspension, and I would just be so comfortable, and I love that fact about it. Visibility through the Nautilus is actually really good, so there's not a whole lot of blind spots. Blind spot monitoring helps out with that. In the very back, there's a little tiny window that actually helps out with visibility a bit. Seeing over the hood is pretty easy. You are pretty high up in the car with your seating position, and so it's pretty easy to see over the hood as well. To wrap things up on the 2019 Nautilus, what I'd say is if you're in the market for a mid-size luxury SUV, which a lot of people nowadays are, between the mid-size SUV and then also what a lot of people are getting now is luxury third-row SUVs, then this is definitely one, if you don't need the third row, to check off your list. It's super comfortable, and the nice thing is you get a lot of tech from Ford, and Ford has a lot of nice technology in general, and so that carryover goes into Lincoln, so it feels like a modern vehicle tech-wise, but it's just such a comfortable vehicle, and like I said, if you're on the market for one, definitely check out one of these. And there we have it, everyone, the 2019 Lincoln Nautilus. Thank you everyone so much for watching, and again, a big shout out and thank you to Larry H. Miller, Ford, Lincoln, and Draper. If you're on the market for a Ford or a Lincoln, definitely check these guys out. They will hook you up. But that all being said, if you're stopping in for the first time, please subscribe, comment down below what you thought, and then I will see all of you in that next video.